All right, I'll hold my hands up in shame. Okay, the Spider-Man Sony Marvel universe is supposedly not dead, according to this Variety article, this exclusive article. It is still going, but they're going to have a little rethink. But I think there is a certain actor that could return to a certain role to make Sony's Spider-Man-less universe stand out. Okay, according to Variety, even after Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web, Sony's Marvel movies aren't dead. Obviously, I could just read through this article, and I have, but what's great about the internet is that there are people out there who kindly break it all down for us, especially Spider-Man News on Twitter. Go follow them. They're absolutely amazing, keeping us all up to date. But I want to start from the very beginning. So the first Venom film's success made Sony think that fans would see any film based on Spider-Man character that didn't have Spider-Man in it. No. I feel like Venom could be an exception, actually. But you know, fans are wanting to see Spider-Man interact with his own villains. And I'm not saying like you can't do villain origin stories and solo films and everything. We've seen it with other things like Joker and so on, and it's worked. But in the case of Sony's Spider-Man-less universe, it just hasn't worked as well, and I really think they took the wrong direction. But what's really interesting about this article is it kind of makes me turn away in shame, because I'm like, oh, okay, is that the reason why Sony never used Tom Holland's Spider-Man or Spider-Man in general in their spin-off films is because they thought we wouldn't accept Tom Holland's Spider-Man appearing in non-MCU movies. And granted, they're right, but also in the Variety article, it goes on to say that, you know, they thought it would just work without Spider-Man, and there was no sort of block to use a Spider-Man in their movies. They just wanted to approach the villain films as their own sort of thing and possibly do a Sinister Six down the line. I don't think they'll do a Sinister Six in a non-MCU movie. It's more likely MCU. But what's really interesting about the article, and again, Spider-Man News breaking it down, is a new actor for Spider-Man might be hired to appear in Sony's spin-off movies. And again, this is in the article. And another thing, just to point out, they saw Morbius as a success, which is very surprising because they didn't greenlight a second one and everything. But I guess they saw the social media reaction. Dancing around Spider-Man without ever getting to use him also contributed to the feeling that these spin-off films were merely exercises in Craven optimism. You can feel the cynicism a mile away, said a veteran producer. They're grinding out product and it feels like it. There's no quality control. And that has been the main thing. But there is definitely a possibility as well. You could hire a different Spider-Man. It doesn't have to be Tom. Now, going off that sort of quote from that sort of veteran producer, I think there's one man for the job. Yeah. I think Andrew Garfield should come back. There is a possibility or a way they could bring Andrew Garfield back as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, continuing the Amazing Spider-Man story in these Sony villain films, basically. Now, I know this isn't like brand new, like thought like, wow, what a great idea, that's just Joe. But Andrew Garfield loves Spider-Man. He loves Sony Pictures now. Him and Amy Pascal of Pascal Pictures are just like tight as hell. And people want to see him return into the MCU again. But I do think Sony needs to kind of re-strategize and go, look, what if we did these villain films, but it involves Spider-Man? Might be what's happening with the Clayface movie. We might be getting our introduction to the DCU Batman in a Clayface film. So it could work, definitely. But I think Andrew Garfield is just so popular. People love him and they want more of his Spider-Man. And it'd be great to have such a different Spider-Man compared to Tom Holland's, who's kind of still in his early days. I mean, he's fleshed out more. He's more the Spider-Man we all know and love now by the end of the third film, No Way Home. But Andrew Garfield, you know, his Spider-Man was quite interesting when we met him in this film. You know, you're saying he was pulling his punches and everything. This is a gritty Spider-Man that's trying to still deal with the consequences of Gwen Stacy's death and everything. So it'd be really cool seeing a Spider-Man kind of going through his own personal journey of being that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again. And I think audiences know, because of No Way Home, that this is a different universe. And I think Sony could, they could utilize that. They could be like, yeah, let's use Andrew, bring it back as Spider-Man, put him in these villain films, and then lead up to a Sony Sinister Six movie or whatever. But obviously we need the right villains, and I don't think Venom's story is over. I think there could be more Venom films. I think there's loads of potential there. For Craven and Madam Web and Morbius, I think it's kind of done. The most successful one has been Venom, but I think it's time to explore other Spider-Man villains that we could do. I mean, Chameleon made an appearance in Craven the Hunter, supposedly. I've not seen it. I mean, Chameleon's a really interesting character. Imagine doing a solo Chameleon film. But it would be really interesting to see the villain's POV of Spider-Man himself. And I'm not saying every single future Sony Spider-Man villain film Spider-Man should be in it, but they should utilize him. And I just think Andrew Garfield is just perfect. He has a great relationship with Sony and everything, and he's a great actor, and people miss him. Just don't do an Amazing Spider-Man 3, because we kind of want to forget that. We want to forget the second one. Well, I do anyway. I did not enjoy that second one. But in terms of a new actor, like, I'm okay with this as well. We could get a completely new actor for Spider-Man. And again, because of No Way Home and the whole multiverse thing with Marvel, they know like the differences general audiences going into it. And also, we're supposedly going to have two Batmans. We're going to have Robert Pattinson and the DCU Batman. So I think it's not like the stupidest idea, but I know it's not the newest idea anyway. What do you think of this news, guys? What do you think of Sony saying, no, we haven't killed it off just yet. Give it a chance. But I think Sony should just pull back and concentrate on their Spider-Man projects, like Spider-Man Noir with Nicolas Cage, which is a new Amazon Prime TV show. The Spider-Verse films, they've really got to hurry up with that, because it's supposed to be coming out, was it this year? And it's just been pushed, and obviously Spider-Man 4, which Tom Holland's production company is now associated with, and this was a way to get him to do the fourth one. I think Tom Holland is kind of tired of doing the doing the Spider-Man films. It's it must be so exhausting and everything, but creating a production company with his brother, getting involved in the Spider-Man universe, and having a say in Peter Parker's story is really interesting. And I do trust Tom Holland. I do. I think he loves this character. He really respects the fans. So, yeah, we'll see. But, Tom Holland's got a big year. He's going to be in a Christopher Nolan film. He's got loads of projects coming up. But I'm glad he's well rested and recovered and everything. And it's time to get back to work, get back to training, and get web swinging around New York and so on. Anyway, what do you think of this news? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you like this video, it really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and thank you so much for watching. So yay, the Sony universe isn't dead. I should go and delete my last video. Bye.